your bitch like I was Drake, yeah.
Don't just try to tell me you love me. Can't keep it real if you really don't trust me. Come with a real, here up in the front seat. Get my meals, I'm gunning for the money. Money in the bank. Come on with a dank, scrolling the tank, rolling with the gang. You sit and I on the sideline tripping. I go to the hole with the rock like Pippin.
Yeah. I'm okay.
What up, though? Welcome to Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. I am Eazy, joined by Spinmo Rax, young Chris, Nicholas, Koloff. Smash that like button. Be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream, and watch whatever you motherfuckers change Spencer's password. Better let us know what it is right now.
Yeah.
It'd be so funny if drunk you did it.
I mean, I've been using it all day. I don't know what's going on here. It's really starting to piss me off. I'm trying every password that I've ever used for anything, and nothing's working.
No caps lock, no shift,
Nope.
no accident. Maybe the shift button stuck, maybe? I don't know.
That's got to be one of the worst feelings.
This is awful.
Technology
This is
pisses
terrible
me
right
off
now.
like no win. Technology, and now I'm playing video games again. Video games too. And honestly, actually, this weekend, I had a little bit of a crash out. I will admit.
We all did.
We'll get into it. Yeah, but I had multiple. Yesterday wasn't so bad. Yesterday I was dejected. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, you should know what we're talking about. You're watching this sports show, talking Detroit sports, Detroit Pistons. Yes, we got fucked by like the letter of the law. Like that should have been a foul, and fouls get called. But the way we've been asking for this series to be played is physical. Like we've wanted the game to be called that way, be officiated that way, and it has. The other thing too, in a game like that, in a situation like that, I don't think a referee is ever going to blow the whistle. You're not going to have the game end on free throws.
Yeah.
Like, that's just anticlimactic. It's gross. Like it's just I understood it from that perspective. What I was more upset about, not even upset, just Cat and Brunson fucking went off in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
They individually, both those two, not individually, but each of those guys scored more points than us alone, by themselves, than our entire team in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
We had our opportunities. But the shots that Cat made, the fadeaway beforehand.
That baseline fader was nasty.
It was behind the backboard.
Yeah, it was elite level shot making by both Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson.
I will say there was a push off from the three.
Tough.
I will say that.
It's tough. You had an opportunity to win, you didn't do it. They should it have been called? Should that three have been called a foul? Yes, it should have, but it wasn't. And you can't put it in the ref's hands. You can't put the fate of the game in the ref's hands. You had the opportunity to win the game, you didn't get it done.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks.
For the people that want the challenge stuff, like you can't challenge something that wasn't called on the floor. So yeah, I thought that was a bad challenge by JB to begin the game, but there's nothing he could have had in his back pocket for that situation. He couldn't have used it.
Well, you couldn't have used it in that situation, but you definitely could have. And I get the argument when your superstar wants you to challenge something, you listen to him, whatever. But you can point to so many things about that game, which is what I get to, is you can't put yourself in a position where you allow the refs to decide a game. And you did want that physicality. But the truth of the matter is, if that steal at the end of the third quarter where Dennis Schroeder gave it to Tim Hardaway and Tim Hardaway dunked it, they were lollygagging that fast break, and it ended up costing them because that 2 points did not count because it was a dunk, not a layup. Or if Schroeder just used his speed and got to the rim and laid it up, that's 2 points. Cade Cunningham, our best player, the player that wants to be the best player in the world, the player that wants all the accountability, missed a very makeable shot. I love Cade. That's not a knock on Cade. I think that's going to make Cade better because that is something that is going to sit with him for not only this summer, but for the rest of his career and make him a better player. But that is a situation where if you make that shot, you do not put the refs in a position where they can decide the game. So yes, you can be upset about the call, but the truth of the matter is that your superstar, the best player in the series that we wanted to be the best player in the series, has been very good and had great stretches, but has not been the best player in this series and had the chance to put that game away, and he didn't. And again, that's not a knock on Cade. I understand the situation, but that's just the truth of it.
Both things can be true there, Chris. And I think if he does hit that shot and Brunson's in the corner getting fouled on that Tim Hardaway three, same exact play, Brunson's getting that call 100 times out of 100. That was a bullshit call.
Right.
Straight up. I think, did we need to flop more? Did Timmy need to sell it more? Like, honestly, like, could you argue that? Did he need to kick his legs out and, be a little floppy fish out there like Brunson does it?
Honestly, if he sold it more,
I think
maybe
he
I could
gets the
see it
call.
being
He
probably
called.
would've got it.
If you sold him more, if it were Cade in that situation, like a bigger name guy, I think maybe you get that call. But I also I don't think any referee is gonna allow a playoff game to be judged by the free throws. It's like it's bad on them. It's a bad look.
Yeah, but then they could challenge if there is the whistle.
Yes.
Yeah, and there wasn't a whistle, so they couldn't challenge. And like I said, was that a foul on Tim Hardaway Jr.? Absolutely.
Yes.
He should have been shooting free throws, but he wasn't, and you had opportunities to close that game before that, and you couldn't do it. You're like, you can't allow that to happen. You need to take the game when it's there, and they couldn't. The Knicks, the Knicks, guys went out there and they took care of business. Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns made extremely difficult shots, and you got to step up. You are the worst team. You are going against a team that's better than you, for them being a higher seed. And to win these games, you needed your guy to be that guy, and he was, but he missed the shot, man, and that sucks. And we talked about, I said the most important things in this series are Isaiah Stewart playing every game, Cade Cunningham being the best player of the series, and Malik Beasley being what he was in the regular season, and as of right now, none of that has happened.
No.
Yeah.
And that's why you're down 3-1, and that sucks, but you got to go try to win in New York and get another home game and then have a Game 7, but not looking great.
Offensively, Asar's opportunities were real sloppy. He missed wide open layup, had a couple turnovers himself too. That's been disappointing for me
That's
because
been
he was
very
supposed to
bad.
be your secondary ball handler in a sense. That was very disappointing
And
offensively by him. Defensively, he does what he did.
Another person to highlight who, again, we think the world of long term, but in this series has not been good. Jalen Duren's a -42 in this series. Asar is a +4.
Yeah.
And playing a lot less minutes. So, it's like there's a lot of blame to go around in a 1-point loss. In a 1-point loss, you can look at any play you want. You can look at any moment. But, the truth of the matter is that the most accountability will always be put on the best player in Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
And respect to Cade Cunningham because he asked for this. He wants this. He is not shying away from this. I guarantee, like I said, this is going to motivate him to be better. You have the Michael Jordan shot. Or the Michael Jordan quote where he said, I failed 26 times, which is why I make the shots I make, or something along those lines. I'm butchering it right now. You have that quote. You have a lot of historical precedents for these superstars that are franchise cornerstones going through these things. And that's what this playoff is. That's why I originally picked the Knicks in 6, is because I thought this was a learning experience for the Pistons. And I think it's been a very, very valuable one. They've walked away with, it is Detroit versus everybody. We can't count on the rest. We need to be better here, here, and here. So there's so much to take away from. I've been overall very, very positive about this series. And it feels good to hate somebody again, man. It feels good to hate Jalen Brunson. It feels good to hate Karl Anthony Towns, the New York Knicks. Get after it with them on Twitter. It feels good to be in a situation that matters like this.
Yeah, and there are only 2 players in the NBA 25 years or younger this postseason with 100 points, 30 rebounds, and 20 assists, and that's Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards. So, he's been good. He has been the guy. You need to take it to another level, and we saw him do that in a game that they won. We saw him do that in the second half, and they took off, and they got the big lead. But then in the fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns took it to another level, and the Pistons didn't, and Cade Cunningham didn't, and that's why he lost the game. So he's got to improve, and this is your first taste of playoff action.
Yep.
You played bad the past 2 games, especially the first half was terrible for Cade. Second half was great, but you played bad 2 games in a row. You don't have Isaiah Stewart, and you don't have Jaden Ivey, and you lost 2 games by a combined 3 points. So, moral victories are moral victories, but these are 2 extremely winnable games at home that you let slip through your fingers.
That third quarter by Cade Cunningham was fucking phenomenal.
That was a masterclass.
That was the block had me. I'm pretty sure I scared the fuck out of my neighbors. I was in there screaming
The
I
block,
legit
the
did.
dunk.
I legit did.
Yeah.
I was going crazy.
Then-
and then the dunk on Cat,
and
of
I-
all people, the
I-
lefty. Oh my
That was-
god!
I
That
will
was
say
what's the
goodness
that
gracious.
LCA was absolutely rocking in that
Yeah.
game. It was such a cool environment to be at. shout out to the guys I was sitting next to. They watched the show. It was fun, man. It was a great place to be. It just sucks they couldn't pull it out.
Yeah.
I thought a couple big plays real quick. We're just the Schroeder one, not getting that, or he gave that ball up to Tim Hardaway Jr. That was massive. You needed those 2 points, obviously, Chris.
Yep.
I know you talked about that. And just the end there, it's sloppy play after sloppy play. And this is a game where I'm not just happy to be here. I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm not just happy like that this team, because expectations change. And the Pistons should be up in the series.
They should.
Like, no doubt about
Absolutely.
it. We have let these games slip away from us. And it does, illustrate
blown
a bright
double-digit leads in
future.
every game.
Yeah, there is a bright future here in Detroit, but this one sucks in the here and now.
Yep.
Because we have a 95% chance of going home.
So, yeah, that's where I guess last game for sure. I'll hear you out if you want to talk about the referees. But, like, you know me. I did take the Knicks in this series, and that's due to the talent that they have on their floor, as well as the inexperience on ours. And I think that's like where we've seen us fall short. Yeah, we should be up, but a lot of times we haven't been up is due to that inexperience. And that's kind of the growing pains of being a young team. And Cade Cunningham, only 23 years old, doing what he's doing, phenomenal. I think next year you see him level up from that. It's kind of everything Chris was saying about Jordan. Whatever. I don't know what expression you're talking about, but like to miss those shots, remember them and learn from them. That's going to be Cade Cunningham in the series, and that's what this always was. I never had the expectation of actually moving forward from this round. It would have been nice, and I'm rooting for it, for damn sure, and I for sure want to win at home. LCA, Detroit fans, we deserve that. But what we're seeing right now is kind of what the expectation should have been.
Byrne in the Woodward Sports Chat with the Super Chat. He says, fine, I'll say it. The Knicks are bad for basketball. They're thugs, dirty. What else did they call the bad boys and going to work Pistons to get calls? That's fair. But like I said, man, you saw two all-NBA players elevate their team in the fourth quarter for the Knicks. You didn't see that for the Pistons. Pistons don't have two all-NBA players. Neil made a great point. He said the Pistons are one player away from being the Knicks, and the Knicks are one player away from being the Celtics. And that's where the power rankings of the East are. And
that's how NBA basketball is nowadays.
Yeah, you need another guy, and obviously you're missing Jaden Ivey here. He would be extremely impactful as a scorer down the stretch. He has hit big buckets for this team. That's all he was doing when you talk about fourth quarter scoring down the stretch. So he would be extremely important in this series. You need Isaiah Stewart in this series. He would be extremely important because
yes, I agree to the Stu part.
The Pistons don't have a secondary scorer that's worth a shit right now. They don't. Yeah. They need somebody. Jaden Ivey is by far the second best scorer on this team. He would help in these situations.
The only thing I'll say for sure, too, is this series with Stu healthy, for sure 6 or 7.
Much different.
For sure 6 or 7.
Much different.
And honestly, like I think could have been the difference in at least 2 of the games.
At least 2 of Karl Anthony Towns' shots in that fourth quarter, Isaiah Stewart would have made a difference on.
The push-off he had on Paul in that one, or was it during? You're not pushing Stu like that. You can't move Stu like that.
Yeah.
Stu was amongst one of the strongest guys in the NBA. That's what sucks.
But even with all of that, even with the injuries, even with you lost these games, you lost them. You lost these games. You were up in the fourth quarter. You got to close that out. You only won by 2. You had plenty of opportunities down the stretch of that game to win it, and you couldn't.
Yeah. This game is a lot different than Game 3. I know they're both close games. I mean, to lose both games at home by a combined 3 points, and again,
it's heartbreaking.
You could talk about the officiating, but no matter how you slice it, it is absolutely heartbreaking. But these were games that the Pistons were in position to win, especially this one when they led most of the fourth quarter. They had that awesome surge in the third. And again, the truth is just that they're going to learn from this, that they're going to be better next year. I have all the faith in the world of all of these young players getting this experience, and we've been told time and time again how valuable it is by players, by coaches, by people in the NBA. And I think you're going to see it next year. I really do. And you have to be encouraged that, look, some of these games when you're turning the ball over twice as much as the other team and shooting piss poor from 3, to have a chance to win that game is a true testament to some of the things you're doing, your team identity in defense, all of the things that you have done well, keeping you in that game. It was very impressive. It's very impressive that this team has been so close in all of these games. There has not been a single blowout. The closest you could point to was Game 3, and it wasn't a blowout. The Knicks just had the lead the whole game, but the Pistons were always within striking distance. So you got I don't see how you can't be encouraged. Does it hurt? Yes, but can you be discouraged? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that would be a glass half empty type of look.
Yeah, don't be discouraged.
No.
Until like if there's, I know Stick's one of a kind when it comes to like just
Rage baiting.
not making any type of sense. Yeah, and just rage baiting. I don't know if he means the shit he says.
He doesn't.
I hope there's nobody else that we see in the chat today. I haven't really been paying attention. That's on that type of bullshit. The disrespect of Cade Cunningham is what I'm talking about. And that's probably just experience we personally had with our guy Stick, because he's always hated Cade Cunningham for whatever reason. There will be none of the slander. I won't tolerate it. For being 23 years old, no other all-star on your team, no other all-NBA guy on your team, specifically this series, no Isaiah Stewart, for even the defensive part of that, doing what he's done, admirable. I think the third quarter alone was something you only see from superstars. Matter of fact, I think it was only Oscar Robertson to put up 25 and whatever the fuck else he did. The 4 blocks on Jalen Brunson, who's like one of the most unguardable guys right now. Off the dribble, that's one thing I learned for sure this series. And I probably should have known, off the dribble, that's probably one of the most deadliest guys in the NBA. Mm-hmm. I have to give him his credit. I thought he was done for with the knee injury. Came back, nothing bothered him. Or ankle, whatever the hell he went down with. Maybe he had to poop like Paul Pierce.
He's done it a couple times.
Who knows, but that guy, he's
got
pretty
the
fucking
runs
good.
or something.
And we just got Cade in his first playoff series.
Probably doing something.
Got fed up.
Yeah, no, definitely getting a shot of something to put him back on the floor.
Yeah.
That's what they do. But
Yeah.
It's you saw that, Jalen Brunson was elite, and he has his co-star in Karl Anthony Towns, who was elite. Cade Cunningham was elite. He doesn't have a co-star. It's just him. So if you want, when it comes to scoring the ball and making dynamic plays down the stretch, he doesn't have that other guy on this team that will step up and take over a quarter of a game. You got 2 of those in New York. You only got 1 of them in Detroit.
And I was called crazy and all sorts of things for wanting another good player next to Cade Cunningham. Fucking imagine what that would have done in this series.
What?
Because there was people in the chat that were like, no, don't trade for Booker, don't do this, don't do that. I get if you were arguing the price, but to say no, we were good with just Cade, which is what people were saying. Yeah, imagine if you had a fucking another shot creator in this series. Imagine not relying on 30-year-old Tobias Harris, who's been excellent in this series for most of it.
Yeah.
Like, he's been phenomenal. But we all know that Tobias is overachieving in this series. Like, he's playing out of his fucking mind.
The
we
punter,
can't expect that.
Real quick, Nick, I know you want to say something, but the punter at Woodward Sports Chat says,
out.
I'm not mad for Cade for pulling up that jumper. He has to take that shot.
No, he has to.
Yeah.
You have to take that
Best
shot.
player.
10 times out of 10, every single time, same exact situation, I want Cade taking it. I said it.
Whatever shot it is.
I was
It's gotta be
hammered.
Cade.
I was drunk. I was screaming it after the first half, everything. I said, if we're going to lose, I want to lose with Cade Cunningham taking 30 shots. That's how we would lose. And that's how we lost.
Hey,
Yep.
man,
I'm good with it.
I'm having him take that shot every single time. You want to hit on Pistons real quick? I was just going to mention a quick thing.
No, yeah, go.
Tarek Skubal, absolutely elite down there at Comerica Park. 11 strikeouts, 0 runs. You sweep the Orioles, made them look like the goddamn White Sox. Best team in the American League right now. I know we have a stacked football show.
Yeah.
Wanted to shout out the boys playing at Comerica Park because they're absolutely on fire.
Yeah, we got Tigers at the very end, but absolutely.
Way to go, Nick.
Only 5 runs allowed in the entire series for the
Scoop
Tigers.
was fucking stupid yesterday.
They held the Orioles to 5 runs allowed in this series. It's just we have the best pitching staff in baseball. It's not even close.
Preach.
Skubal with that changeup, he
Yeah.
had 12 whiffs on it yesterday. That seam shifted way. Talked about like it is. They truly made his changeup one of the nastiest pitches in baseball. The guy's a fucking horse, dude. I love Tarek Skubal. You gotta sign him.
Have to.
And hey, Javi Town.
Yep.
Don't look at it now. Javi Baez sitting over 300. He's got an OPS over 700.
I'll probably be buying you a pizza.
Might be buying me. I'm just saying. The guy's swinging a hot bat.
I'm here for it.
I like this. He got a couple extra base hits. You like to see that. He's not Singlier Baez, No, but all seriousness, fucking good shit, Javi. Like, we needed this. And
For real.
can't ask for anything more out of the guy compared to what he was last year. So
Yeah, and a
just keep-
doubleheader for sure with the first game.
Yeah, keep swinging it, Javi. He had, an RBI and a double yesterday, too.
Yeah. It's incredible right now. The resurgence of Javier Baez. He's having fun out there. I know, obviously, we have so much good football that we're going to break down with the draft and everything.
Sir.
So I know, hit on the Tigers a little bit later.
Well,
I literally brainwashed myself into liking Javi Baez this year. Like, we were at the game, and I was like, dude, I just like him.
I
Like,
was telling him to be quiet. I was like, you're embarrassing us right now.
everything he does looks cool. I brainwashed myself into liking Javi Baez, and he's paying it off. Like, shout out to him.
Well, we have tons of new NFL rookies coming to the Detroit Lions and coming here in Michigan. For those guys, if you're listening to the show, we're going to be lots of praise for you, so you might want to tap in. But if you're buying a new home, well, you're coming here. Hit up my guy, Mark White. It's investment business. He can save you up to $5,000 on the closing cost of your brand new home. Just dial him up at 248-290-8242 or visit him at markwhitesells.com. That's 248-290-8242 or visit him at markwhitesells.com.
Hey, Javi Town.
Detroit has the best sports fans in the world. That's why they deserve the best sports coverage in the world. We are the Woodward Sports Network.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The bats are hot, and the weather is getting hotter. Summertime in the D with Detroit's big hitters, Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness, the home of the judgment-free zone where everybody can get a full-body workout in 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all that for just $15 a month. Or you can upgrade to the Black Card and get use of amenities like hydro massage, total body enhancement, and access to over 2,500 locations worldwide. Join in club or online at planetfitness.com. Oh, fuck. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
I'm driving. I pulled over to get this reaction. Because unless the Detroit Lions are receiving a compensatory pick for losing Carlton Davis and free agency, because he did sign a big contract, one that was bigger than the one DJ Reed signed. Maybe in some world you get a third-round pick back for that one. I don't know. You don't give up 2 third-round picks. That is the worst fucking trade. I'm trying. I love Brad Holmes. That is such a shit. 2 third-round picks for 2-6 in exchange of the thirds. That is a horrendous trade under any fucking value chart. That is dumb. I don't care who the pick is. You can move in the first round with third-round picks. This isn't even a fucking fake. That is fucking god awful. I don't know what the fuck you want me to say. I really don't. I really fucking don't. They want me to make a video. I'm making this fucking video. That was fucking horrible. And I love Brad Holmes. That's a bad trade. That's a bad fucking trade. I'm sorry. Woke up the next morning, a little fuzzy, you know. It took me a minute to get over the trade. It really did. I have nothing against the player, by the way. Like I liked Isaac Tesla. As soon as I visited with them, I went and watched the tape. Phenomenal hands. I think this might be our Puka Nacua. There's 0 career drops. It's just giving up it was a trade for me that tasted gross. It really did. But ultimately, as I said in the video, I do love Brad Holmes. It's one we're got to wait and see with. I obviously in the moment very upset, but a third-round pick isn't a first-round pick. There was no sense in that happening, but it did. All right, I'm a passionate fan. Right, I control myself when I'm up here. I don't even like doing the watch parties because the real me at home, I scare children. I'm not like it's bad. But the reason why I was upset, I guess, is my logic of thinking. Is like last year we grabbed Tierran Arnold, correct? we moved up in the first round to grab Terry Arnold at pick 24.
Yeah.
Do you know what we gave up to grab Terry Arnold in the first round? A third-round pick. Aleem McNeil, great player. You know what we drafted Aleem McNeil with? A third-round pick. Okay. Well, it's Detroit Lions are going to do well. It's going to be in the back half of the third round. It's essentially a fourth-round pick. Okay, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like that's where my mind's going. And I get from a standpoint too, where it's like not everybody that we draft right now is going to make the team. But if we're not going to spend the money on certain players, certain guys, certain positions to level up, we're going to have to do it so in the draft and just being bare next year in the third round. Even without just assets to move up in the first round scenario, I wasn't a fan of that. I didn't like that. But I do like Isaac Tesla, which is ultimately what you got to pick with. Nick, you are also a known crash out. Where were you at with that trade specifically?
I was kind of playing into the part when I was smoking a cigar on the top of the DAC, and I was like just playing the villain in the moment because I know a lot of people were like, okay, that's a lot to give up for the third rounder, or to go up in the third round. Yeah. I'm with you on that part of it, but all in all, it's just gonna go on the production of Tesla or however it's pronounced, but that's all it's gonna be. I have faith that he's gonna be a pretty damn good player for this team. And to go out and get your guy and get aggressive in the draft, that's what I like to see Brad do.
Yeah.
I didn't agree with, some of the things that he did within this draft.
Yeah.
Within this draft, but I like him being aggressive. I do know that. If he eyed Tesla a lot and this is his guy, let's fucking go. I'm going to ride with this part of it, but yeah, I would have liked to see him go up and get that blue chip type defensive guy. Obviously, he thinks Tyleek is that, but I would have rather traded 3/3 to move up in the first.
Exactly. That's where I'm at. And not even necessarily like this year. Like those are next year's. We have no third-round picks next year.
Yeah.
It is what it is again. We got a stacked roster. We got guys we have to keep around. I thought this, though, this morning, too. That helped me get through with it as well, just processing it. If you're Brad Holmes, if you're actually another general manager of any team, particularly in the NFC, and Brad Holmes is calling your phone, there's odds of you looking like a fucking clown are high. I'm talking about the Green Bay Packers fucked up and did that. The Vikings messed up and did that. The Eagles messed up and did that. Like Brad Holmes, if he's calling you for your pick, he's there to dunk on you. And that's what it's been the past couple of years. So when he's calling and that pie in the face is coming, you gotta up the tax a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think essentially that's what happened between the Jaguars and us with that trade. And I guess I understand it from that standpoint.
And I look at it as that's obviously a guy that was extremely high on Brad Holmes' board. Like this is obviously, Tesla is obviously a guy that Brad Holmes really wanted. And we know that he's not afraid to give up third-round picks. He does it a lot. I feel like every draft he's trading a third-round pick. 3 of them for a third-round pick and 2 sixth-round picks. Maybe it's not the best value, but he saw his guy. He wanted his guy. He went up and got his guy. So do I love the assets that he gave up to do it? No, I don't. But I think Tesla's going to be good. I like the prospect. I like the kid a lot. And I like this draft a lot from Brad Holmes. Obviously, it's a lot of guys that were high on my board, so I'm very happy with the results that we got. But we'll see. We'll see if that comes back to bite you. Those were, kind of free anyways because you got them for Aaron Glenn.
Well, the one was, but the other one was the actual third-round pick. And by the way, if we go out with the Super Bowl, we'll be the last pick in that round other than the compensatory pick. So it is what it is. But, I just think it was a Brad Holmes tax at the end of the day. Like, again, this guy's calling you. He's going to outperform you at that pick anyway. You might as well squeeze what you can out of it. Yeah. And that's essentially what the Jags did. We did have Brad Holmes on the thought process with that trade, though. You want to play that clip, Chris?
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about Isaac in a second. That's a couple of threes, couple of sixes coming back. Yep. Is it fair to say that those are trades you make in 2025 because of where your depth chart is, but trades you wouldn't have made in 21 or 22?
Yeah, it's so much, Dan, it's so much that goes into the decision for the trade. Obviously, you have to be convicted on the player, but there's a lot of players you're convicted on that you don't feel like you have to trade up for. You feel like, you can stay patient, you can wait, it'd be a gut-wrenching if they went off before you picked. But so it's so many different things that you have to look into. You have to look into, you know, what the market and the team needs are for the people behind you. You have to see, you know, the people in front of you, like, will he make it through that gauntlet? So it's a lot of things that go into the, but what you just said, that is part of one of the reasons as well too, is, you know, but so many picks are going to be able to make our football team now. So the ones that you feel like we feel are really you're convicted on, and you love them, just go and get them, especially if the trade makes sense.
Hearing Brad talk through it, speak through it, obviously you put yourself in the thought process, you're a little bit more comfortable with it, especially because Brad Holmes making the pick. But initially, it's a trade I don't like. And I want to reiterate that one more time for the people in the chat that think I don't like Tesla, I don't like I didn't say any of those things. Nothing about the players. I love the players. I like the players. I love Ratledge. Well, Tesla, it's experiments. We're going to see what it is. It was a trade I didn't like. Not the players. Just for everybody in the chat that keeps saying whatever, but I don't dislike the players at all. It was the trade. But again, it's the Brad Holmes tax. He's just too good at his job.
Yeah, and
he's too good at his job.
Third rounders aren't that valuable to you, Eazy. I mean, yeah, you know.
Clearly to Brad, they aren't either.
Yeah, it's. You
gotta stop calling him a bust now.
You can't call Broderick Martin a bust. Then what is a third rounder worth? You know, so I like third rounders. I think they're important. But this was, you went up and got your guy. This was Brad Holmes cooking. You want Brad Holmes to cook? Don't be mad at the meal he put in front of you. Like I said, would I have rather them gotten an edge rusher? Did I want to see them get an edge rusher?
Yeah,
absolutely. I really like all the guys they got in the draft. I'm not going to sit here and act like these were bad picks or these are bad players because one of them wasn't an edge rusher. They're all extremely good. Like, I'm really happy with the vast majority of these picks. So we're going to break it down, obviously. But, yeah, the trade was the trade.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? And that's what I had to move on from is, hey, you know, Tesla does look like something that could be a Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp type of guy for you down the line. He tested among the top 20 wide receivers in the last 10 years in the relatively athletic score he put on. And it's kind of crazy, too. They wore the shirts, height, weight, speed, HWS, crossed out. Maybe hating on the heavyweights, who knows? But then they go and draft the guy that was like the test score guy.
That's what all these guys, dude, are all 9.5 plus RAS score guys. Tate Ratledge was 9.97. Tesla was 9.97. Mm-hmm. Tyleik Williams was incomplete, but his would have been insane. That's what they like. They like these freak athletes. They like these guys that are going to do a lot of different things. The RAS score is extremely important to them. So
yes, Kirby's a third rounder as well. Silent service.
Yeah. So I'm fine with it. Like I said,
he has the carte blanche to do that type of stuff. You know, and that ultimately that's where I have to.
And it's not like you don't.
Settle,
it's not like you made any crazy trade. You still got a first round pick next year. You still got a second round pick next year. Man. You don't. You're not going to need 10 guys on this team every year. You're not going to need 10 guys in the draft every year. So when you already have a first and second round pick next year, and you see a guy in this draft that you're like, all right, he is at the top of our board and he's still there. Let's go get him. We can afford to throw these away because we already have such a deep roster.
The other part of it, too, and we got to get a break here, and I got to get a V-Mix for Scott because he will be joining us as well. That third-round pick, those third-round picks, 2 years ago, we felt like it was the best shot to win that Super Bowl. And you and I crashed out together because we didn't go get that edge rusher.
Yep.
Whoever it may have been. Chase Young ended up being the biggest name at the deadline. Ultimately, what was given up for him was that compensatory third-round pick. Where as you're drafting a guy, as great as Brad Holmes is, there are question marks. Mm-hmm. Brad Holmes moved up to draft Broderick Martin, too. It's looking like he ain't going to make the roster this year.
Yep.
So I'd rather give up a third-round pick, if I'm going crazy like that, to grab a piece that's going to help me win a Super Bowl now. But it is what it is. Again, Brad's got the carte blanche. He can do what he wants. Most people look stupid when they question Brad. I didn't necessarily do it in 2023. With the Jack Campbell one, I kind of did. Gibbs is like, all right, yeah, I get it. Explosive weapon, yeah, I loved it. But this one, third-round pick, giving up third rounds, it felt gross. But I do like Isaac Tesla. I do think he'd be something special. I don't know if he plays outside for us. He's mostly a slot guy in his entire collegiate career. But he's got the build of an outside guy, so maybe they teach him. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And, you can have more than one slot receiver on the field. Like, just because they are a slot guy, they can run slot routes from out wide. Like, you see Cooper Kupp is on the same team with Jackson Smith and Jigba right now. Like,
Yeah.
they're both slot guys. They're both going to do a lot of inside work, and that's where the Lions' offense really runs. And I truly he really gives Puka Nacua vibes. He really does,
Yes.
with his size, with his catching ability, with
Lack of melanin.
with his lack of melanin, with his athleticism. He really, people are saying Cooper Kupp, but no, he is way more athletic than Cooper Kupp.
Way more athletic.
So he's more of Puka Nacua, and now he has got good guy. Like they said, the thing he's going to have to learn or get better with is creating separation and having crisp, clear routes. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown to help you with that. Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best route runners in the NFL, and this Lions offense that is so good at scheming their players open and scheming these guys open that the lack of separation, yeah, it might be something for when he's just running straight shot routes, but they do a good job of getting their players open and putting them in situations where they're going to have success. And when you get a freak of nature like that, there's a lot of situations where he's going to have success.
One of the things too, like if you want to put in the Ben Johnson part in there, where he's no longer here to help scheme those guys open, well, now you have a really athletic guy too that could go out there and make a play, especially put him in the middle of the field. But we do have – you got something, Nick?
Does this pick illustrate to you guys that Jameson Williams will be a Lion for 2 more years? Does it have anything to do with Jameson Williams in your guys' mind at all?
No,
and do you
me.
believe Tesla has the capability to be an impact starter immediately?
I don't think starter immediately.
Yeah, probably not immediately.
But I don't think it has anything to do with J-Mo. I think different fittings right there. J-Mo, obviously, speedster. When I see Tesla, I don't really think that. I think like a big body guy.
Sub 4.5 speed?
I think, honestly,
Tim Patrick replaced
it's what we got right now to Tim Patrick. But even a little different than two. He's real skinny. He looked real skinny. What do you weigh in at? Do you remember?
It was like 215.
215?
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder what Tim Patrick is.
19 and a half yards per reception.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a middle of the field type
solid.
guy. That's why I see him as kind of, Puka. Is the best version of what I'm trying to think of, I guess. And Brad Holmes coming from that Rams lineage, the teams that he met with were, I believe, the Packers, Rams, and everybody else that had like a little bit of Rams lineage in there. So I think that's what you should look forward to.
At the Senior Bowl.
216. How much? I'll look up Tim Patrick's weight.
Yeah, I think the kid's going to be good. I do, and that's why
Tim Patrick's only 212.
Like people wanted
so
me to
skinny.
be so worked up, or people wanted me to freak out. I love all of the play. Like I love Tyreek Williams. I love Tate Ratledge. I really like what I'm seeing out of Tesla. I think he can. He's got the
Excellent
makings of a
hands,
star
dude.
receiver in the NFL. Like truly, with his athleticism, his size, and his hands, that's a pretty fucking good combination of things to have when you're playing wide receiver. And then I think Miles Frazier might be my favorite pick of the draft where they got him. That is an excellent pick for the Detroit Lions. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm mad that they drafted great players. Did I want to see them get an edge early? Yes, I did. Am I a little upset that they didn't? Yeah. Do I love the trade package that they gave up for Tesla? No. But these are all so good players. And how many times does Brad Holmes have to say that he drafts to bring talent? He drafts talent. He fills need in the offseason and in free agency. He drafts talent. And that was obvious that he was going for the best player on his board available. And Tesla was obviously very high up his board. So he said, we got to go get this fucking kid right now. I don't care about next year's thirds.
Only beef with anything was a trade. And I just want that to be clear before Tesla comes out and becomes a freaking Pro Bowl, All-Pro.
I would not be surprised.
We do have a draft expert join the show briefly, Scott Bischoff, to talk about the Detroit Lions draft class. But Feist, Benny, tell us about Lady Jane's or merch.
Merch.
All right.
Let me tell you about merch. If you are tired of your same old Detroit sports swag, go ahead and go to woodwardsports.com. Click on that shop tab and upgrade your Detroit sports wardrobe. Get the best Detroit swag in the game. Hoodies, tees, hats, all that, all teams, all seasons. Make sure you are tapping in to the best Detroit sports merch in the game, Woodward Sports.
I'd love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, is kicking off the game with the best prices on all cars, trucks, and SUVs, like this 2024 Silverado for just $296 a month, or this 2025 Equinox for as low as $371 a month. Our locations in Novi, Highland, New Hudson, Livonia, and Lansing means we have the perfect Chevy right in your backyard. Get the home team advantage every day at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi Experts Woodward Sports. It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Feldman Chevrolet of Novi, Detroit's #1 Chevrolet dealer and the Chevrolet Dealer of the Year for 6 consecutive years. Get a 2025 Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew for just $199 a month. And you can also get a 2025 Chevy Equinox for only $249 a month. Come see George Hawes and his team at Feldman Chevrolet of Novi today.
Mate, World Heavyweights Live, WoodSports.com. I'm Eazy, joined by Spimo Rax, Young Chris, Nicholas Koloff. Smash that like button, be a friend, tell a friend, and share the stream. We're going over the Detroit Lions draft class, soon to be joined by Scott Bischoff. Kind of going over the crash shot that I had this weekend. And again, just for the 5th time now, wasn't about the players, it was about the trade. And one more point I want to reiterate is, again, is like the Chase Youngs. That extra edge that we all were craving, that a lot of you guys wanted. A lot of you guys in the chat said he crashed out Brad, didn't get an edge. He didn't get an edge until like the 6th round. Mm-hmm. That 3rd round pick could have got you that. We've seen that happen. 4 Super Bowl contending team. 4 teams that went to the Super Bowl.
Landon Jackson was on the board.
3 picks later.
Yeah.
I think he went after.
So was Birch.
Yeah, man. I'm not. The thing I wanted the most out of this draft class, as crazy as it sounds, and I think I've reiterated this like heading into it as well, was the guard.
And you got 2 really good ones.
2 really good guards, and I'm very happy with both those guys. Tate Radlich in the run game, I think it's going to be phenomenal. I don't necessarily expect him to start, but I do expect him to compete.
He's going to fight for that spot for sure.
Damn sure going to fight for it. It's a very complicated run scheme, the way it switches from power to zone. I think he's athletic enough to handle both. At least Scott has reassured that for me. By the way, Chris, if he's on, make sure you throw me a heads up.
He's extremely athletic, dude.
Yes.
He's a freak. I love the kid. I've been all about Tate Ratledge this whole season, whole draft season. I really wanted the Lions to get him. I was told 2 was too high for him at the beginning, and so I pushed him to 3. But no, this guy is an absolute menace. He is one of the most athletic guards, probably the most athletic guard in this draft. Absolute monster when it comes to run blocking and just nasty, ferocious finisher at the point of attack. We talked with Scott about him before, and he did say that he tries to get a little too aggressive sometimes, which is kind of a downfall for him. But
that's kind of what the Lions like.
This is what the Lions like. He fits this team. He fits this system. He fits this skill set. And I love the kid. I was all about him. I was extremely happy when they called his name.
Yeah, we did talk about with Scott, and we'll talk about it with Scott again. Now he's official Detroit Lion. What up, man?
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Great. Doing better. I don't know if you saw. I crashed out in our group text too, but how'd you feel about that trade?
What was wrong? What's that?
We texted me about it. You kind of calmed me down about it. The trade in the 3rd round for Tesla, the 2/3 for the 6th.
Yeah. I think. I get it. I get the frustration around it. I don't think that we should be viewing the way that trade was made as third-round picks, just because they're a year from now. You know what I mean? So the way it works generally is that, let's just use an example. You're in the fourth round, in the middle of the fourth round of a draft, and if a team approaches a team that's on the clock, you got to give up a third-rounder to get that pick. So it's almost, it's like there's a 1-round difference. So don't view those third-round picks as third-round picks. Now, I understand that next year during the draft, we're going to be frustrated when we see that the Lions originally had those picks. But they are really, in terms of how the whole thing shakes out, there, you got to view them as late fourths. Just from this, we'd all be disappointed if the Lions don't make the playoffs and don't have a bit of a run in the playoffs. So even if you have those picks, you're looking at pick 90 or later for their own pick, and then the compensatory pick is going to be right around pick 100 in that range. So again, the Jaguars they can't acquire anybody with those picks until next year. So I guess it's just a way of framing it, I think, a little more appropriately, that they moved up 32 spots to take a player that they obviously coveted, and they gave up what I would consider to be reasonable value for it. They got a 6th-round pick in return next year's draft. So, they'll be able to maneuver in and around the draft with a pick like that. So, having said all that, it'll all come down to whether or not the receiver makes plays for them. And, do you guys want to start there with what he is as a player?
How do you feel about Isaac Tesla?
So, I don't want to come on here and blow Brad Holmes, but they may have found something with this guy, because everybody that at the combine he really blew up there. He's tall. He's 6'4", 214. He ran 4.43. But it's not just build up straight line speed with him. He can change directions. He can do all that stuff. He's a remarkable athlete, and he's got huge hands, and that's kind of where I would start the whole thing. Is his hands are absolutely ridiculous. We refer to that kind of stuff as almost having arrogant hands. He doesn't drop anything. Everybody's going to point to his production and all this stuff, but I'm not sure that the Lions get sold on production so much as it is traits. So you can see him run routes. He's a solid route runner. I think he's got to work on his route running, but he is a detailed route runner already. So, he's a bigger outside receiver. I think, just as a summary from him, we might as well just get this out of the way. I think this is a Tim Patrick replacement with a whole bunch more juice than what Tim Patrick has. And I really do think it's as simple as that, is that they have tried to find a big, fast outside receiver that they can trust for a long time, whether it's Donovan Peoples-Jones or Patrick or, all Josh Reynolds, all the other ones that they've tried. And it just they really haven't found. And Patrick was fine last year and he was productive for them, but this guy's different. He's faster, he's quicker, he's all those things. Again, his hands are ridiculous. He catches everything. I don't know that he was charted with a drop last year.
Nope.
He's got 10-inch hands. I mean, it's like they're blankets. Everything that gets near him, he catches. And I'll tell you guys, you're going to see highlight reels of him, and it's going to open your eyes simply because of his body control and the ability for him to adjust to things in the air. And his vision has got to be ridiculous, because he does. It's like he times everything perfectly. He's very, very impressive as far as the way he catches the ball. Now, he needs to be more productive. He wasn't crazy productive at Arkansas. He didn't go to a big school because he played quarterback in an old school offense in Michigan. He went to Hillsdale. So we have to look at traits. You can't be focused solely on the production. And I think when you look at traits, this is a guy who I think can play all over. He can be a big slot for you. I think he can play outside. If I was a member of the defense, I would be trying to press him, not to allow him into his routes. So he's got to work on his releases and getting off of press, because he's certainly going to see that stuff. But at the catch point, he's pretty dominant. He's really good with the ball in the air. He's very good at adjusting his body. He's got great hands. There's a lot to like, right? It's just you can't point to a bunch of production at Arkansas and say, see, look, this guy's going to be great. We have to take a bit of a leap of faith with Brad Holmes on this one.
And I think that's where some people are a little concerned, because you saw a couple of the leaps of faith that Brad Holmes has taken in that third round haven't really paid off. Like you look at Broderick Martin, he doesn't look like he's going to be a player. Obviously, I still have faith in Manu, but people are already writing off Giovanni Manu. But then you look at Kirby Joseph.
1 year, man.
Yeah, I know.
He's drafted as a project.
Yeah, and Kirby Joseph was kind of a leap of faith in the third round. He had only played safety for a year prior to them drafting him. So when you look at Tesla, what do you see his ceiling being for the Detroit Lions when his talent is actualized?
I don't necessarily see, and this would apply to any receiver in this class that you brought in. Where's the production going to come from? Like you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a vacuum for targets. You have Sam Laporta. J-Mo to me is a player that you just can't move away from him just because of what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Just his presence on the field alone, not when you're throwing the ball to him, just his ability to vacate space for his teammates. And then it's, with Tesla, or Tesla, however you want to say his name. It's, I think that his production will come in the red zone. His production will come on third downs, but I don't know that I would say that he needs to be a 75 catch, 1,000-yard, 8 touchdown guy, or he's a bust. I just think that's not necessarily the lens in which he should be viewed. I think that we'll see is in terms of like number production, we'll see that kind of stuff shake out. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I think you've completed your offense with young players who are both, really good. All these guys are athletic and they all do things really well. And with him, I just think there's a difference in the way he catches the ball. So, I know that's not a great answer, and I don't have a great answer as far as, like, with J-Mo, does anybody think that he had a down year?
No.
Right? And he had, I don't know how many catches he had, but he had
58.
Just cracked 1,000 yards. So is there room for Tesla to get into, a 50 catch plus season with 800 yards in a few years? Maybe, yeah, maybe he scores 6 or 8 times, right? But it's more like, look at what they're using look at what they're trying to do with Tim Patrick, and just think of that as in a bit of an expanded role with much more high end athleticism, and I think that's what you'd be looking for. And I would say that even if they took, let's say they took Luther Burden in the first round last Thursday, I would be saying the same things. How many targets is this guy going to get, right? Mm-hmm. So I just think in the overall with him is does he complete your offense with some upper end athleticism? And yeah, he does. And other things too.
Now, Scott, I appreciate the group text with you and Sean. You calmed me down for that trade, but you also gave me a little tidbit Saturday morning when you said Ahmed Hassan may become a Detroit Lion. And it came to fruition. And I got to listen to this kid, the passion of him just being, just blessed with the opportunities you get here in America, the athlete that he was before he even got to America. The guy didn't speak English 5 years ago. And now here he is in the NFL. What was that you saw him become a Detroit Lion?
Everything that you saw, right? Like we've seen the videos of him getting drafted, and the story is remarkable. He hadn't played football until 2019. He was obviously an incredible athlete coming from Egypt. What really tipped me off to him was watching the combine and seeing his interaction with Chuck Smith, who's the pass rush coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, and just seeing how fired up both of those guys were getting because of the other one. Like they were doing the hoop drill where you run figure eights. And you could see Hassanin was like, let's go, man, let's go. And Chuck Smith was giving it back to him, and nothing negative, but you could just see the fire there and how much he wanted it. And it was just like, yeah, this guy, there's something there with this guy. So then I watched a bunch of his film. He popped in the bowl game where there was effort all over the place. I watched a bunch of his film, and the stuff that stands out to me is that he's 6'2", 267. Obviously, a shorter player, but he's got good leverage. His stance is very, very much inefficient. The way he just lines up to get off the ball, and because his stances leads to inefficiency, he's late getting off of the ball. So when you watch him, you'll see that it almost looks like he's a touch sluggish coming out of his stance, but that's a stance issue, right? He's late and it looks like he's lacking explosion at the snap. But I think you get all that stuff corrected simply by adding some stagger. Now I know it's more complicated than just saying, oh, this random clown in Detroit saw his stance was a little weird. There's more to it than just giving his feet some stagger, but he doesn't really play with staggered feet. So I think that you can fix his stance. But having said all that, he's inefficient with his first step. He's still very disruptive, right? Like he understands leverage. He knows how to move people. He can turn the corner. He does all those things. He does it as a bigger player. But with him, I think it's interesting what's going to happen with him if you give him some explosiveness off the ball that he doesn't currently play with, and what can he do to tackles at that point? Because he already understands instinctively how to move them and where to go to be able to turn that kind of stuff. So that's the stuff that I see. He's exciting. I think, in a perfect world, the Lions might have stumbled into one with him. It doesn't mean that he's going to be a 10-plus sack guy or any of that kind of stuff, but I think there's enough there that we should all be excited about him being here, and I would not count him out. I mean, he's already at a point where he's done some pretty remarkable things. He's not a player I would count out at all. So I'm really interested and excited to see what he looks like going forward.
Do you think he'll get some snaps this year, some rotation with Marcus Davenport?
I do. And I would hope that he would. I think that you could see him maybe being a practice squad kind of player, but we don't know. I mean, we don't know how quickly he's going to pick up some of the things that they're going to teach him and to get him a little bit more twitched up on the edge. That's the unknown. He's doing a lot of this stuff already while not having great technique and understanding of, how to win the corner and how to attack offensive tackles and all that stuff. He has instincts where he understands it. So I think that there's, this is not a guy that I would count out. It's a long way for him to go to get to a point where he's playing meaningful minutes, but there's something there to his game. And, obviously he needs a little time and he'll get it. It's just, there's already stuff there to build on. It's interesting.
And another guy that the Lions got in this draft, a guy that I love, and I've loved for this whole process of looking through the film and finding guys that I want the Lions to draft, is Tate Ratledge, the guard out of Georgia. Just another freak athletic guy, one of those 997 RAS score dudes, and I think he is exactly what the Lions want in a player. How much he loves football and the nasty mean streak that he has. Do you see him competing for one of those starting guard spots? Because Dan Campbell said it, that starting guard spot's up for grabs. It could be the guy we draft. So is he going to be in the mix for that starting guard spot next year?
Yeah. There's no reason he would not be. There's Christian Mahogany, Graham Glasgow, and Tate Ratledge are the three guys playing for two spots. He's going to have to fight the pad level over. We've talked about this. Well, the three of us. There's a little bit of over aggressive stuff. Now, I don't think it's stuff where you say that he's unsavable or it's a fatal flaw. It's just that there are times when he'll fire both of his hands at the same time, and you would prefer if he did that with one hand and just kind of kept himself a little bit more under control. But it's a little trade up for what the Lions did on day two. And, with him, the things that stand out, and they're hard to find, is that he's got a really nice combination of being a gap, power kind of player who fits in a power scheme, while also having the athleticism to absolutely be able to play in an outside zone system too. And that's a lot of what the Lions do. And that's hard. It's hard to find players who can do those things. Like Dallas took a guard, Tyler Booker, who's very much a power gap guard, but there's no way that you're going to ask him to play in an outside zone kind of run system. But Ratledge can do that stuff because he is a really, really good athlete. His trouble comes, he's 6'6 plus, and he's got 32-inch arms, 32 and a quarter inch arms, right? He has huge hands. He's the kind of player that once he gets his hands on you, though, it's kind of over. So that's going to be the entire thing, is how do we efficiently get you to stay at the level of aggression that you play with, but get you a touch more under control in certain times where we don't want you to get overextended or throw both your hands and miss, or miss with one of them, which then he'll turn his shoulders. I mean, just think about it. Like, you fire in your hands and you miss with one, you're turning your shoulders, and that's a problem because then you get into players are going to redirect back inside, and then you got to rely upon a lot of athleticism and other kinds of things. And the other area where the aggressiveness stands out is there are times when he struggles or just doesn't pick up on stunts and twists and players who might be looping from outside back inside, because he's so hyper aggressively focused on the player that he wants to essentially, punch into next week, that he doesn't necessarily see those guys. But all that stuff is just a little bit of refinement where I think that's, with this guy, that stuff's pretty easy to correct. Hank Fraley's a really good offensive line coach. I don't think there are any issues. And, again, pick one as a defensive tackle, pick two as a guard. Those are boring picks. There's not a lot of sexiness around taking, a defensive tackle and a guard. But,
good.
We all know the Lions are going to go as far as that offensive line takes them.
Yes.
And Ratledge is going to be a big part of that going forward.
Now, what about Miles Frazier? When I watched, I like what I saw in the passing game. In the run game, not as much consistency. What do you think he plays, tackle or guard?
To be honest, neither. I think this is a possible center.
Wow.
And I don't know. It's not like I'm not solving the puzzle here, right? But it's like you have a bunch of guards. You don't have a natural replacement as a center for when it is that Frank Ragnow decides that he's done. Now, that doesn't mean Ragnow's done after this year. I nobody knows, right? But with Frazier, what stands out is that he does have all the power stuff, and he's really, really efficient in pass pro. Like, he's really good there. There are no issues with him as a guard in pass pro. The problems are that I don't know that he's a really good match as a guard for the outside zone stuff. And what I mean by that is, like, when you look at his ability to reach block or do backside cutoffs kind of stuff, I think there are moments where it looks like but then there are moments where it looks like he's got a little heaviness in his feet where I don't know if he can do those kind of things. I don't know that he can survive with the system that they're running, but I know he can as a center. And as a center, you're getting help. It's a lot of double teams. It's a lot smaller space to have to get to execute the kind of blocks that they'd be asking him to do. As with a guard, you got to get out. You got to get on the move out into space. And as a center, I think it sort of condenses everything. And I would look for one of these guys to have to transition inside. And to me, Frazier is the most natural guy to do that. And I think there's a lot of upside to his game if he can do that. He's a really good pick. And I think it felt around that pick the way I felt when they took Mahogany 2 years ago. Like, he should never have been available.
Yes.
Like, this is a really good player. But, I do think that there's going to be – he may have to switch and go a little closer inside. But that doesn't mean there's not upside to this pick. And he's a really good player.
Yeah, me personally, That's what I wanted out of this draft class. And everyone's talking guard. I didn't necessarily know if that was going to happen. There weren't a lot of guys the pocket collapsers, the guys they like. Obviously, we got Ahmed. He's a big dude, powerful guy. He's going to collapse the pocket. Guard is where I wanted to be. I love Graham. Between the injuries, getting older, I think we need some stability behind him. I think we got that.
Absolutely, they did. I think that in a perfect world, Glasgow is a backup for all three interior line positions because some of these young guys have emerged and are just at this point ready to go ahead of him, which is fine. Glasgow's a good player. I just think right now he's better. He's probably better served to be a backup for Detroit than a starter, but he can play all three of those positions. They're in a really good place with this offensive line going forward. We all know it. They're going to go as far as the offensive line takes them. Mm-hmm. It's not a surprise that they're targeting these kind of players on the inside. These guys. These are mauling kind of, these are dudes who are going to take away your desire to play kind of guys. So they fit perfectly what Detroit's doing. With Frazier specific, I think there are questions as to whether he fits and can execute the outside zone stuff, and does he work in a zone system at all? And you can mitigate a lot of that stuff by allowing to play center. He's got a little time, right? So I'm not saying he has to play center. He could roll into camp and win a starting job, and it wouldn't be surprising on any level because he's very, very talented.
Yeah.
It's just, the fallback is it takes him a year to get up to speed as far as playing center goes. And when Glasgow's done, there's your guy who's a backup center but can play guard immediately for you and also can play some tackle in a pinch. So very versatile player, but I do think that the move to center might be in his future.
And then finally, looking at the number 1 pick, their first round pick, the guy Tyleik Williams, I know a lot of people were kind of dogging me. They're like, oh, you only like the pick so much because you called it. You only like him. No, I love this kid as a player and another. Again, stop me if you've heard this before. Brad Holmes drafts a freak athlete. Like the way this guy can move sideline to sideline at the size that he is not something you can teach. So can he, without Ali McNeil, he is going to be essential in the beginning of the season. Is he ready to step in day one and go at 3 tech or nose?
Yes.
My guess is he's going to play 3 tech right away. I did not like the idea of Broderick Martin starting for the Lions with McNeil out for what I'm going to guess is 6 to 8 games plus to start the season.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if McNeil is back that soon, right? So I would say the expectation is McNeil is going to miss the first 6 games at least. But you've also now given McNeil a little bit of time to get ready, and you're not forced to have to get him, maybe back a couple weeks early because you just don't have much else there, right? So Williams, I think, is one of those guys who's got some immediacy, and as far as he's going to play right now as a 3. He's going to spell Reader at times as a 1 when somebody else might be playing 3. But, his future is sort of at both spots. Now, it's interesting with him because he's 6'3" and 334, and to me that's a huge guy, right? He has shorter arms. He has 32-inch arms. There are times watching him where you can see other teams when they double him. When he's one-on-one, he's a nightmare. But when he's doubled, you can see his pad level rise immediately, and he will get moved off the ball. So that gives me some pause about what's he going to look like as a 1. I wouldn't love him as a nose because I don't know that he's a 2-gap kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
So I think in the future we're looking at some mix and match with him and Ali McNeil, and that's going to be a nightmare for offensive lines to have to deal with those guys because they're both crazy athletic and big guys. Mm-hmm. He gives you some gap to gap versatility. He's got super powerful hands. Everybody can see that. I mean, he's got enough pop in his hands where he'll take blockers and just jolt them backwards. But the nice things about him is you can see him extend his arms and get his elbows locked out. And just as a little scouting tip, watch his head. pretty consistently, if you watch his head, that's where the ball's going to go. It's like he's playing a little game of peekaboo at times. And he knows where the ball's going to go, and he's eventually going to get there. But he's able to get offensive linemen locked out, and then he can find the ball. And that's the playmaking stuff where, not everybody can do those kind of things. And he's impressive to watch. He is a block. He just is a block destroyer. On top of a player who does have really, really top-notch instincts to find the ball and go get the ball, and then. We all want to portray this guy as like a heavy one-gap only guy, but I think he's a little more than that. I think he's a gap-to-gap penetrator. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to give you, a bunch of interior pass rush stuff, but he's going to give you some because he does have a little bit of lateral quickness to his game. And there is some, if you're a football guy, this is an exciting pick. It just is.
Pretty good coverage skills too. Like I'm not even joking. He had 10 passes. They like to use him, bump him out a little bit.
He's got really good instincts. Like, all right, I'm not going to get home, but I'm going to get my hands up because I'm looking at the quarterback and he's looking at me. Yeah. Right. So there's so much to like about the stuff that he offers. That's not necessarily production stuff, right? He does a lot of things at a high level, and it's a very important piece for the Lions. Both in the near term and in the future, the things that he's going to offer to them.
Yeah, I think the first thing you hear a lot of people say when you watch him is instinctive. And I got to hear him speak at the press conference. He's a film junkie. And guys like that, with that type of athleticism, can become something special, or at least, like you said, something disruptive. And that's all I wanted out of this draft class. Give me someone disruptive on the defensive side, and then give me somebody behind Graham on the other side.
You got it.
Yes, sir. Scott, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Anything you want to promote while we got you on?
No, we're good. We're good.
Scott, you killed it this weekend, by the way, for everything.
Lions podcast.
There we go.
See? There we got some.
Detroit Lions podcast. And Scott, we appreciate all of the help you gave us over the weekend, and everything you do. It was awesome hanging out with you guys. And obviously, you're the best. You're the best in town.
Thanks, guys. It's always fun joining you guys, and I know I've texted it individually to both of you guys, but this is the coolest part about doing any of this stuff is the people that you meet, and it's been awesome meeting you too, and it's awesome. It's really cool.
Absolutely,
I appreciate both of you guys.
One last question. By the way, nice meeting your sons this weekend as well.
Yeah.
Who you got? 100 men or one gorilla?
Oh, the gorillas! Come on, please.
What if it's 100 Penny Souls?
Ooh,
the gorilla.
Nope. All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
What about 100 Penny Souls and the 04 Pistons?
I'm still going with the gorilla. I don't know.
I'm with you.
I'm with you. It's a debate. We're good.
That's fair. Scott, we appreciate you so much, man.
You guys.
Scott's the guy. It's like just an endless wealth of knowledge about every single prospect you could ever think of.
Dude, and the thing,
he was probably watching tape of Tesla when he was at Hillsdale.
For sure was. And by the way, the Hillsdale highlights are crazy.
Insane stuff.
They are Calvin-esque.
Insane stuff.
Calvin-esque. I'll say it. Yeah.
Like just insane.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts.
Wow.
Shout out to you for asking Tyler a question. We didn't even get to ask him about the Dan Jackson or Dom Levette.
No.
We'll talk about all that stuff and more, but Feist. I don't know what the hell we got to type about.
Lady Jane's and Dr. Pierce is what I have to tell you about. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop and sit down, relax, get a hot leather shave, scalp massage, hot towel treatment, all of that, an award-winning haircut from one of our lovely, talented stylists. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. And let me tell you about Dr. Jeff Pierce. Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights of Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy and Thursdays on Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, where he offers top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts, Dr. Jeff Pierce, here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit him at MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or give him a call at 248-426-9944.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well,
Why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. We got
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
For sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
I threw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Make sure you are tapped in with Detroit Sports' #1 digital network, Woodward Sports, on all social media platforms: YouTube, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch. Everywhere you get your best Detroit sports coverage is right here at Woodward Sports. Everywhere you can get it at Woodward Sports. They are giving you the best breaking news, live reaction, coverage of the draft, everything and more. Tap in at Woodward Sports.
And let me tell you about Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Use promo code Woodward1000 and your first bet up to $1,000 you'll get back if it doesn't hit in bonus bets. Caesars Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports.
What up, though? Welcome back to Whatever Waits Live, WoodwardSports.com. I'm Eazy, joined by some more Rax, Young Chris.
What up, though?
Nicholas Koloff. We're live from
shirt?
5 to
Just
7 on
came in
Woodward
today.
Sports. Shout out. I know he went there this weekend.
Padme.
Batty. Big nerd.
Batty. I'm big nerd.
I got one thing to say on the whole gorilla versus 100 guys thing.
100 Pennant Souls can beat a gorilla.
Yeah.
I
was pretty confident of that.
That does change things. But here's the thing.
Or Ben Wallace's.
You got to, the eyes or the balls.
Yeah, there's
straight up. There's got to be like 40 guys dedicated to the eyes and balls.
You're not going to be able to do a lot of damage to a gorilla. Their skin is so tough, and like you're going to have to hit them hard. And like you said,
give him the old dick twist.
Grab his dick and twist it. Got to grab his dick.
You're going to have to do it.
Yeah, that is the one thing that's like.
That's why really Chris has to be on the team.
Or is it a Thanos thing where you have like 20 people grabbing one arm, 20 people grabbing
that's
another?
What you have. That's what you have to do. Yeah. And like is like a gorilla could go like this and kill a regular man. For sure. Yeah. But like Penei Sewell is not a regular man.
I mean, he would still.
Who would be the first? We'd have to get. All right, so we'd have to strategically do this, and I want our vanguard, like the first people that go into battle, to be like 10, 15 crackheads. Ooh. Send them out there. They're squirrely. They're not scared. They're gonna fucking. They can
There's
take
that one
a hit.
Who picked up the fridge. And got on his bike. That was crazy.
They're unpredictable. So you send the crackheads in first,
and you send them after the nuts.
And then you send them after the nuts. They'll bite. They'll chew.
Waves.
So you got to strategically do it. But that would be my first plan of attack. You send in 15 crackheads to disorient the gorilla and try to go for the vulnerable spots.
Guys, you're missing it. You don't need 100 Penei Sewells. You just need LeBron James. Remember, he said that he's in a forest and a bear is attacking him. You help the bear.
Yeah, say that.
This is LeBron James.
I mean, I would take LeBron on my team.
I would definitely take LeBron.
Yeah.
He's like top 1% of human specimen.
He might be able to fly and knee that thing.
If you could get like the entire UFC give me like
John Jones,
the entire UFC roster, 15 crackheads, a bunch of offensive linemen,
the 89 Pistons,
Aaron Donald.
And 20 of the Serena LeBron James babies.
And 20 Serena LeBron James hybrids.
Honestly, I would take Ahmed Hassanin.
Yeah?
Like he judo, jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's got the background. What?
We don't need him going down for the gorilla. He has an important role that he needs to play.
But he would teach the rest of the team the chokes.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
Fellas, I don't know about you guys, but how about 1,000 Jeremy Reismans, known tough guy? I'm taking the gorilla.
Nice cut. Nice cut.
All right.
It's a good move.
I'm taking the
Moving
gorilla.
on.
I'm taking the gorilla for sure.
100%.
No offense. Like, if it's 1,000 spennies, I'm still probably taking the gorilla.
For sure.
I don't know. 1,000 spennies could do. 1,000 spennies could conquer a fucking city.
For sure.
An army of me. Look out.
At least form a militia.
At least form a militia and try to kidnap. Never mind. Free Joey Morrison.
All right, I do want to talk about that. What you say?
Allegedly.
Big bro.
I said, never been more back.
Like I said, Darius is the one that sold them his training equipment. So if anybody has ties to him, it's Darius.
That's crazy snitching.
Yeah, you do snitching your boy like all the time about that.
Statute of limitations.
Nick, you had the infamous crash out that led to your and Jeremy's beef about not drafting the edge rusher. The Lions got one. Came a little later than a lot of people wanted. How you feeling about it?
I mean, I don't know how he fell so far, to be honest.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to like it.
Production, fellas. I like the player, and I like the production. I mean, obviously, it was Boise State, so it's not like he's going up against SEC and Big Ten talent every night. But this is what you want to see out of a guy that's playing for Boise State. It's the big-time production, and he also had production when he played against high-level competition, so that stands out to me. I believe he had over a sack in the playoff game against Penn State, if I'm not mistaken. I love to see this production out of the late-round defensive end.
Real quick, Danny G in the Woodward Sports Chat says, Cap, the Spennies would end up at the bar drinking.
For sure.
The Ronin 99
I didn't want to
says,
say it.
The Ronin 99 says half the Spennies would be too high to help out. Just ripping the pen like, we'll get to it eventually. No, but listen, you heard Scott.
There's 3 of them breaking laptops.
Yeah, god damn it, 2 are crashing out. You heard Scott say that the Lions might have ran into one here.
Listen,
and
man.
it's you look at, like, I'm telling you, obviously we all saw the viral clip that I made a fire edit on, by the way.
Shout out.
Nice.
Corey, go show that to him, Corey. It's on my Instagram. I made a sick edit of your boy. But you saw that, and that is, I die on the field for you, Coach. I die for you, Dave. Like, that is the embodiment of a day. If you told me that somebody said that in an interview for the Lions, I would have told you they're getting drafted. And then the video that Scott was talking about of him at the combine, firing up the coach, like, let's go to the coach. He's at the fucking combine. He's not even playing. It's just who he is, how he's wired. Absolute Dan Campbell guy. Like Nick's, the production at Boise State was there. You saw the sack numbers and the tackle for loss numbers always up. He makes plays. You bring him in here, he's going to have a lot to learn early, but he's only been playing football for 5 years, man.
Voted team captain by his teammates.
That is the type of guy that this regime likes. That is the type of guy that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes like to bring in, and it's worked so far. Like, they've been doing pretty good. Remember all of the team what was the Jet Campbell draft? Didn't we draft like 4 team captains?
Yeah.
Like, they
Tate
like
Radley's
these guys.
team captain. Yeah. That's what Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell look for. They look for the intense FBI football guys. As a matter of fact, I was watching Ahmed's interview with Rich Eisen before the draft even happened, after he kind of spazzed out on the defensive line coach from the Ravens. And he talked about
that
it.
shit, dude.
Like, he was talking about the teams he visited with. And as soon as he said the Lions, Rich Eisen was like, whoa,
Yeah.
you and Dan Campbell. He was freaking out about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was right. He said, I love that you flying a wall for your and Dan Campbell's conversation. And, like, that's exactly what we're looking for. I think his athletic background just proves, like, he can learn. I think Scott talking about the stance thing, I like to know that. That there's room for growth.
Yes.
Like what you saw out of him. It's obvious as hell, by the way, too. He's only been playing football for 5 years. To be doing it at this level, that productive, it's honestly insane. So there's room for growth on top of that. He's super strong. And it's exactly what the Detroit Lions look for, the defensive end. I told you guys time and time again. I'm talking about the chat, not you guys, because I'd say to you guys too, obviously you hear it when I say
those
these.
245, 230.
Not going to happen.
No.
We're looking for 260 plus. Guys have put somebody on their ass. That's exactly what they got.
You got one. You got a thick boy out there.
And one that's dedicated to the craft too. Like, it's dying on the field.
And he's the ultimate Dan Campbell guy. Like, I feel like every year we're like, wow, such a fucking Dan Campbell guy. Like,
and a guy that's that locked in and dedicated to it, learning from Aiden Hutchinson, and Casey Rogers.
I honestly don't know how he felt that. Like, obviously he was not going to be like a first round pick or anything like that. But the production that he had I guess people are just worried that he hadn't played football for very long. But you give a guy like that to Casey Rogers, who can mold him into what he wants and mold him into a top-tier pass rusher in this league. Now, I don't know if he'll ever be that. I don't know if he'll ever be, a 10-sack-a-year guy.
But collapse in the pocket, he damn sure could do
He's
right now.
He's going to be able to do that.
Right now, I believe he could do that.
He's going to be able to do that.
All right. So are you guys confident to put money on it that this will be a better pick than why am I blanking on his name?
James Houston.
My guy. Yes, James Houston. Thank you.
Yes. I think it's more than what they're looking for, yeah. I think he'll have a longer tenure of the Lions just based on, like, James Houston, Bendy, get to the quarterback. But in terms of, like, playing your assignment, doing your effing job, as Bill Belichick would say, this is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is to a T almost. And there's still room to grow. And again, I think right now you could throw him in and he'll be able to collapse the pocket.
Yeah.
Regardless of stance, regardless of all that. I think just the strength, just the body technique. When you do that's why I love wrestling. On the American side, where you get a lot of guys coming, offensive linemen, linebackers, even defensive linemen. They got a wrestling background. I love it. Yeah. You know how to maneuver somebody's body against their will. That's what you want to do in the trenches, right? This guy, judo, which is even more maneuvering a body than wrestling. Because it's literally about altering somebody's weight against them. I think this is one you can have a little bit of high hopes on. I'm not talking about top 10 guy, like you said. Right. But in terms of guy coming in, being productive right away, stepping in and giving you something, I think Achman can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get a starter in the 6th round, you fucking nailed it.
And we've seen him do it before. So, like, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, I wanted an edge rusher early. I did. You didn't get one, but I really like all the guys they drafted. I'm not going to sit here and act like these guys aren't football players. These guys aren't very good and highly touted prospects, a vast majority of them that have elite traits and elite production.
Yeah.
Except for, obviously, Tesla, but I don't know, man.
Okay. 34 on the bench, his brother said.
Yeah.
Oh, his brother says, I'll never show my face in Detroit if my brother isn't him, in all caps.
Wow.
Listen, the way he carries himself, the way he's had to maneuver just life,
Eazy
coming to a foreign
for.
Country, not be able to even speak English.
Eazy got to root for.
He's got to root for, but also like just the
mental fortitude to withstand and to go out there and make a name for yourself and thrive at what you're doing.
To not know what the NFL is.
Yeah.
From whenever you had that conversation to his brother about Aaron Donald to becoming an NFL player.
Yeah.
There's guys that dream about that their entire life. There's guys that you have the Tiger dads trying to train their kids to become the next Aaron Donald. To make it further than those guys in 5 years, insanity. Shout out to Achman. Congratulations to him. Shout out to Corey. Hopefully get those guys both on the show. I'd love to talk to Corey as well, who got his brother into football. Nick, I know you want to say something.
Yeah,
real quick.
in his last college game against Penn State, he had 1 sack and 3 TFLs. When we talk about production, this guy just puts up numbers. I'm all in for it. It'd be definitely this late in the draft to get a guy that has a potential high impact on your team. I'd love to hear it. I just kind of wanted your guys' thoughts to why maybe he did drop so far.
I think it's because obviously he's not, he's not
Mountain West
6'6". He's not this giant, intimidating presence at edge. It is Mountain West, and it's the lack of time playing football. That scares people. You've only played football for 5 years. Yeah. That's not something that a lot of NFL teams are willing to risk a pick on. But obviously, he's exactly what the Detroit Lions want in a player with who he is, and like you said, the production is there. You can't argue that. You can't argue that he was an extremely productive pass rusher at Boise State. So I'm excited for it.
For me, it's like a bit more of a trades conversation. Like, he didn't have the longest arms. He wasn't 6'6". He didn't have like elite bend. But again, as we've said a million times, I've only playing football 5 years to have that type of production at that level. Like, I know it's not SEC football, but it's still collegiate football. Those guys were in the playoff this year, right? So it's like, to have that type of production without that type of experience is, I think that shines through, and that's probably why I didn't see him at the top of the class. And again, not everybody wants the 260 guys in the collapse the pocket.
Yep.
Some people want guys that can bend and get after the quarterback. The Detroit Lions, we want a specific guy to do your job so we can play the run and then force the quarterback out of the pocket. That's what we got right here. But we do got some bills to pay, Spinny. Tell us about Planet Fitness.
Buddies. I will tell you about Buddies. Because Buddy's Pizza created the category of the original Detroit-style pizza and has been serving it since 1946. That was Maz's 10th year covering the Yankees. With 22 locations in Michigan, there's always a Buddy's Pizza near you. Buddy's is a cornerstone of the city of Detroit, being here for 79 years and is a dedicated community partner. With notable partnerships with local organizations like the Michigan Humane Society, the Salvation Army, the Detroit Zoo, and more. Save 10% off your entire order using promo code 10MEAL. That's the number 10 and then MEAL. Go find a location near you today at buddyspizza.com.
The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs, and there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Jars, Cannabis Guys, Deli Day is coming May 3rd. Make sure you're there. Visit shopjars.com to find the participating locations. First 100 customers are getting a free ounce. All customers are getting a free aider up to the value of $20. Plus, they got buy one, get one free ounces at the deli, fresh out of the jar. It's Jars, Cannabis. Visit shopjars.com to find participating locations May 3rd.
Shout out.
Shout out. What up, there? Welcome back to Whatever Waits Live on Sports.com. I'm Eazy, joined by Small Rax, Young Chris, Nicholas Koloff. Smash the like button, be a friend, tell a friend, share the stream. Dante151 with the super chat says Sean called Ahmed Sat. His last name. Apologize. Yesterday on a podcast, the Egyptian Magician, and that is an awesome nickname to be honest.
Pretty cool.
And to have 22 sacks total and 23 and 24 is freaking nuts.
Yeah, 22 sacks. I believe it's 38 tackles for loss. Like the guy lives in the backfield.
Shout out to his brother in the chat as well, dropping some gems. He said his brother had a half a sack for, I believe, it was 9 games straight. I got to scroll up to find the comment. But it's the FBS record. Also mentioned, for those people who doubt because he came from Iowa State and not a big school.
Boise State,
I apologize. Alabama.
Looking, I mean, we talked about, like, if Nick likes a guy, that means they did well in college because he is all about production. And he produced at a very high level. So it makes sense that Bama was trying to poach him.
What does this mean for the Zarius Smith stuff in your mind? Is it still happening?
I think it's still on the table, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think them signing his nephew as an undrafted free agent is another, like, come on. Come on. And obviously Cash Doll is doing her campaigning.
Shout out Cash Doll.
He is at the point, he can be David West right now. And he can just go to whoever he thinks will have the best chance to win a championship. He's made a lot of money in his career. It's not like he's hurting for a bag. He's just going to go somewhere and try to win a chip. He likes it in Detroit. Obviously, he's dating Cash Doll. Now his nephew's on the team. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I think it was refreshing for him, too, to have the Cleveland experience, then come to Detroit. Like, I think he enjoyed the actual pursuit of a championship and to kind of, like, being yuck for so long,
Mm-hmm. And also, too, like, that's another just great vet for this young player that you just drafted. And I think also, too, another thing to think about is if they would have done what a lot of Lions fans wanted, which was, like, edge, offensive lineman, the first 3 picks, then, okay, yeah, then maybe that's a sign that it's less likely Zadarius Smith is coming back. But the fact that they did not go all out with edge picks in this draft, I think does point to the fact that they want him home, or are at least considering him, because Brad Holmes said it at the beginning of the season when we talked about, or beginning of off season rather, when you talked about acquiring Myles Garrett. He was like, why not have 5, 6, 7 edges? You know, like he definitely wants depth in that room.
He's trying to get his own edit.
He's made it very clear. He's made it very clear that he wants his own, that he wants a room full of it. So I think a vet like Zadarius Smith would be a great addition for not only production and insurance for Davenport, but also just another vet in the locker room for the young guy you just drafted.
Again, Corey dropping gems in the Woodward Sports chat in terms of Achman. He says he's the only one that got a sack against Conley Jr. this year, too. That's a guy that went first round as well to the Washington Commanders.
Absolutely. And we got, obviously, there's a lot of other draft picks that I'd like to get into, especially when you look at these later round guys. I think we've covered the majority of the top guys that we're all very happy with. Dan Jackson and Lovett, and especially Lovett, I look at him as an absolute, no doubt, Khalif Raymond replacement. That's what I look as Lovett as a guy that's going to be returning punts and returning kicks and get some late slot work as your 6th wide receiver. Because I talked when you're signing Kirby Joseph to be the highest paid safety in the National Football League, which he completely deserved. When you are re-signing Ali McNeil and Penei Sewell and Jared Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown and eventually Aiden Hutchinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, and all these guys, you're not going to be able to keep the secondary contracts. So you're going to lose a Khalif Raymond. You're going to lose an Alex Anzalone. You're going to lose a DJ Reader because you can't afford to pay those guys while you have such top-end talent that you're paying so much money to. So you have to replace those guys with draft picks, and I see Lovett as an absolute replacement for Khalif Raymond and what he does and what he brings to the team.
Absolutely. I think that's where he probably works out to be, right? Obviously, 7th round pick. I don't know where you want to put your expectations at with that one. But Dan Jackson, that's one where we obviously need the safeties. Like, we need safeties in the room. I believe, only have Kirby and Brian on
Mo Norris
contract right now.
Too.
And Mo Norris.
Yeah.
Shout to Norris. That's how everyone makes that mistake, by the way. But I think Dan Jackson, though, absolute dog. And when you think about just the playing safety for the Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart's defense, like one of the best defenses in collegiate football, college football, you need a brainiac back there.
Absolutely.
You need a passionate guy back there. Just a little bit that I got to watch is he's a little bit of a psychopath, too.
He thumps,
taking
dude.
on
He
blocks like a
thumps.
linebacker. He doesn't look big at all.
No.
But again, just to be the play caller for Kirby Smart defense is enough for me. And fun fact, too, he never received a scholarship.
Yeah, he was a 0-star recruit.
Walk on. Every single, just for the love of the game.
Just for the love of the game, and he got drafted.
Yeah.
That's a Dan Campbell guy, bro. I mean, like.
And then in his press conference, too, he knows what it is.
Yeah.
Hey, if I got to make my name on special team, that's what I'm here to do. This is exactly what I got done doing in Georgia.
That's what he is.
And a football powerhouse.
Nobody thinks, Dan Jackson is going to be a superstar safety in the league. Nobody's saying that, but he'll be a good special teams player. He'll be a good practice squad guy, and that's what you're looking at for 7th round picks anyways. So
it's when you think about just sports in general, like the guys are the greatest. LeBron, lunatic, spends $2 million a year on his body, right? Kobe Bryant, obsessed with being the best, obsessed with being the greatest. Even the guys that become nothing to something. Tom Brady, 5th round pick, obsession, just constant hunger, constant want to be the best. That's the people that Brad Holmes is drafting, and that's why you really just can't count any of these guys out. Like you hear Ahmed talk, and you're like, damn, that's the making of a guy that's gonna be something in this league, right? That's like Dan Jackson. Same thing when I heard him speak. Like there's talented guys. And obviously, there's a little off the field stuff too with the Mike Green situation, right? But like the guys that we draft are the guys that overcome the traits, the athletic ability. They're guys that are just hungry to be successful in life. And I think that's why they draft the way they do, because it's been working out pretty damn well. To a point where we're like freaking out as fans. It's like, oh man, how are we gonna pay Jameis? Oh, how are we gonna pay Brian Branch? I love Brad Holmes' draft picks because he finds these type of guys. When it happens to come along with trades, now you're cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
Tyleik Williams. I love the kid. I think Tyleik Williams is going to be so good. Like, he could play nose, he could play 3-tech, and then next year, like, once DJ Reader, they're not going to re-sign DJ Reader, so he's going to walk in free agency. You'll have Ali McNeil playing next to Ali McNeil with Aiden Hutchinson on the edge. Like, I really like the kid. I think he's going to be really good.
Just a fan. I want to hear about my Tigers and the resurrected career of Javier Baez.
We're going to talk Tigers. You want to do that next?
I'm down.
We'll talk some Tigers coming up next, but first tell us about Loom.
Let me tell you about Loom.
Salem.
Let me tell you all about it. You already know Loom Cannabis Co. But did you know they got all the brands you love now for less? With unbeatable prices, a wider selection, the best loyalty program, Loom is a premier destination for new and experienced shoppers alike. Experience Michigan's #1 recreational dispensary at one of their 38 locations. Use the promo code WSN30 for 30% off your entire order. That code works online and in store. Go to www.loom today.
The bats are hot, and the weather's getting hotter. Summertime in the D with Detroit's big hitters, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Stanford Buick GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2025 Envision Preferred for only $259 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for only $169 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for $699 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick GMC, LesStanford.com.
What up, though? Welcome tonight. Woodward Heavyweights Live, WoodwardSports.com. I'm Eazy. Spin more racks 5 to 7 Monday through Friday. Young Chris, Nicholas Koloff. We're down to crash about the Pistons as well, but we do have to give our guy Nicholas Koloff the floor. He's been killing it for Tigers coverage, as he is official beat reporter for the team. Tell us about the Tigers. Hot.
18-10 right now.
Best team in baseball.
The American League for sure. Watch out for those Dodgers and Padres and Giants
Fuck
out
the
in
Giants.
the NL. But, yeah, just want to highlight a couple guys. Get Spenny, get Eazy, and Chris's thoughts here.
Hell yeah.
A couple of guys that that stood out to me. Obviously, Scooble is the most dominant pitcher in baseball once again. Can't wait to get MLB Savant's take on that one.
Hell yeah.
But how about Baez? I mean, nobody saw this Javi coming at all. I know Spenny was high on him, maybe the highest in Detroit.
Absolutely.
But to see Javier Baez hitting over 300 right now, in the base running, he's wreaking havoc again like he was back in the Cubs in his old days.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's more energized out in center field right now.
It does, right?
It really does. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Spenny, what were your first thoughts on Baez this weekend?
The way, I expected Baez to have a better year. I didn't expect him to have this good of a year so far. The way he's
700 OPS.
Yeah, the way he's playing right now is he is going to be the Javi of old. Is that what he is? But no, he's seeing the ball very well. He's not reaching like he used to on those pitches outside in the zone and swinging at anything. But El Mago is back right now, and we just love to see it. He brings an energy to the ballpark. He really does. And as much as Neil poo-poos it, and he doesn't put a lot of stock into this part of the game, which is wild because Fedorov's his favorite player. But the aura and swag that Javi has, you can feel it. It exudes from the way he's playing, especially when he's playing well. And Nick is right. He looks like he's having a great time in center field right now. So I would love to see him get more looks. I would love to see him at third base more, but the way A.J. Hinch is using him, I think, is the best part of it. Is he's not overexerting him. He's not putting him out there every day, starting every single day.
Yeah.
So he's going out there and he's playing kind of guilt-free baseball. It looks like he's just having fun again. And we saw some hard contact over this Orioles series where it wasn't just all singles. He had a couple extra base hits mixed in there with some RBIs. So do I expect Javi to hit 300 all year? No, but I said he was going to be closer to 240 than Trey Sweeney was. And I know that's a low bar, but He's
Where
played
is
well,
Sweeney
man.
at, by the way?
He's doing solid. I mean, he's helping out. And the field, he needs to pick up his throws a little bit
I
better.
agree for sure to that.
I mean, yeah, there was a couple the other day. I was like, Jesus Christ, you're giving... Torque also needs to pick some of those at first. But let's not dwell on any of the negatives right now. We have the best team in the American League, leading the American League with a 2.8 ERA. This pitching staff, Spencer said it, the Chris Fetter effect is here. Everybody knew how good Chris Fetter is, but when you see a guy like Job, sub-3 ERA, Reese Olson's above 3 right now, but it's because he had 1 or 2 bad starts, but he's on his way to a sub-3 ERA. Skubal, best pitcher in baseball. Flaherty goes tonight against Astros. I'm confident with him on the mound. And then Casey Mize, like this rotation.
Talk about back.
Talk about back, baby. I had a little highlight here I wanted to show, and like the Spencer Torkelson effect is taking over Comerica Park right now. When he's up, you know something good's going to happen. He had an absolute nuke in game 1 of the doubleheader. That was the difference in the game. Shout out Spencer Torkelson.
Shout out.
And then he had a 2 RBI double in the second game of the doubleheader. He's cruising right now. Him and Casey Mize are currently 2nd and 3rd for comeback player of the year.
Yeah. And right,
that's crazy.
Right, Javi's got to be up there too.
Yeah,
like fuck, it's the season of back, and they're all back right now.
Definitely torques.
So, what I'm seeing out of this pitching staff is what I expected. Chris Fetter is truly one of the best minds in baseball. I said last year when we had Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn and everybody in this town that Chris Fetter is the best assistant coach in Detroit, and I was called a madman. This guy is truly pitching King Midas. Like every arm he touches turns to gold, except for Maeda, but can't hold that against him. What Casey Mize is doing right now is fucking awesome. What they've done with these guys' changeups, when you look at Olson and Job and Skubal, all of these changeups are just absolute nasty stuff. I already talked about, the seam shifted wake. I know I've said that so many times now, but it is so important to getting the run and the depth on the changeup that they like. And now Skubal has one of the best pitches in baseball. He had 12 whiffs on that changeup alone in his 11 strikeout performance. So, I just love Chris Fetter so much. He is the best bench coach in baseball, and they need to keep him here as long as they can.
I want to ask about Riley Green real quick, but I do want to catch up on these super chats real quick from nobody.
Yep.
Boys, I got this feeling in my plums. This is one of those random rookie contributing Super Bowl drafts. Guys that come in and make a play to impact one way. That's from nobody. Shout to him. From Burn. Guardians are effing frauds. Only 9 games against teams over 500. 3-6 in their win-loss. What's
expected? Probably.
Okay, expected win-loss. The fraud stats say they should be sub 500. And then also we got, I saw another one here.
You got nobody in there saying the Detroit Pharaoh.
The Detroit Pharaoh.
Shout out.
I like
and
it.
then
like
Burn again in the Woodward Sports Chat saying, turns out the keyhole and the Tiger sign were cursed, and I'm glad they're gone. There you go.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
Honestly. What's up with Riley Green? Oh, go ahead.
Just Rando Smalls at Nick. I bet you can barely catch a ball thrown right to you. Buddy, I played travel baseball my whole entire life. I played in high school. Fuck you, Rando.
Yeah, eat shit, Rando.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude's a miserable old man.
I was good at baseball. All right. Riley Green.
Yes. Chris and Eazy, though, embarrassing display. I couldn't believe how bad they were at throwing injuries.
I've never thrown a baseball in my life. That was the first time.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
I can't fathom that.
You never played in the neighborhood with the buddies?
Play catch all the time. You guys didn't play catch?
Always hoops.
Nobody plays baseball.
I play baseball all the time.
Basketball.
But if you are trying to see a better light at baseball and everything going on at Comerica Park, make sure you follow all of our socials and at Nick Koloff on X. I'm posting everything right there, everything that you can see.
And he's obviously close personal friends with Sheila Ford Hamp, so
clearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every picture of him with somebody, you're about to kiss him.
Yeah.
Dude,
were you trying to put a peck on Sheila there?
She might have been trying to put one on me.
Oh, Sugar Mama.
I wish.
Honestly, there's no better Sugar Mama.
Shay watched Fight back, random. Hey, boys. Let's relax.
Noted internet tough guy Nick Koloff calls somebody out.
Riley Green in that second game, nobody needed to have a more explosive home run than Riley. He had a 3-run shot. His confidence level, he pimped it a little bit as he should. He hit a ball back to Baltimore. That's how far he hit that home run. Great to see for Riley. He ended up going 0 for yesterday, but I want to see him continue to have just good series after good series. He had a double in that first game of the doubleheader and then a home run, kind of the opposite of Spencer Torkelson. But if those two guys are on, and this pitching staff is, obviously the best in baseball, and we have the lowest ERA in the American League, if Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson are going, this seems legitimately going to win the American League.
You remember how Tyler Holton got some Cy Young votes for the Tigers last year? Will Vest is going to have that same amount of respect if he keeps pitching the way he is. The dude is fucking lights out, bro. Psychopath. I love Will Vest. Man. He is a psycho, and he's nasty, bro. Just pumping in heaters in there. The pitching staff is just absolutely insane. But also, Nick, have you seen what Bryce Rayner's been doing lately?
Yeah, dude. I got to talk to Rogelio over the weekend. He was super impressed with Bryce. He was getting into it. Some fan in the comments talking, "Oh, what does the exit velo have to do with anything?" Exit velo, he is putting up crazy numbers right now. 2 home runs, a couple doubles over the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Bryce Rayner, Tigers' first-round pick. Max Clark is like a 465 on-base percentage. Not going to get into what Wyatt Langford's doing over by the Rangers. It does not matter because this team is in first place in the American League.
Yeah, fuck the Rangers,
but
dude.
they gotta call up Max Clark to Double-A by now, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah, that's probably coming soon.
It'll happen soon. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. Yeah. But yeah, Bryce Rayner has been absolutely tattooing the ball. I swear to God, every day I open it and Rogelio or the Tigers MLB, minor league report posts fucking 117 exit velo for Bryce Rayner on this double down the line. I'm like, dude, this kid's fucking.
What about the kid we got from for Flaherty?
How you lead? Oh, for Flaherty?
Sweeney and Lorenzo. His average is down right now at Double-A. This is the first time he's played Double-A ball, but he'll be back.
Which one?
Chris is just going to keep zooming in.
Dude, you're rising her up.
I felt bad. I didn't.
Nick is a very charismatic guy.
I felt bad. I didn't pick her up and stuff.
Dante151 with super chat. One play.
She wanted a hug, kind of that's what I'm saying.
Should give her a hug.
It was like a half hug type thing. It was weird.
Give her a little nibble on the ear.
Yeah.
I think that was her husband.
You could not ask for a better sugar mama. You could not ask for a better sugar mama than Sheila Fordham. She's literally number one.
All right, I know we're all joking right now. Honestly, Sheila was the best for taking
I love Sheila.
She's a very nice woman.
Yeah. I'd be her sugar baby for free. That's how much I love her.
Yeah, me too. I love Sheila Fordham.
Big fan of Sheila Ham. One play I grew an interest in watching is bullpen pitcher Chase Lee. The way he throws a pitch to home is really intriguing.
Slider's been electric. It's got a 3/4 kind of delivery, but the slider that comes from it is just nasty. Mm-hmm. He had a really cool double play off of Machado against the Padres, got out of a big inning, then also looked good last time he pitched. So excited to see it. And that was we got him from Andrew Chafin. He's already contributing the next year. Great move by Scott Harris.
And you got Andrew Chafin back. You still have Foley, Chafin, Gunther, and Lang all in AAA. It's an embarrassment of riches for the pitching staff. And Chris Fetter is if the Tigers win a World Series, the first statue should go to Chris Fetter.
Burn $5 super chat says Hinch just walked outside and tripped over another amazing bullpen arm. Harris kicked over another trash can and found a rotational guy. Just wild.
They're doing it like they said they would. They're going to do it like the A's and like the Rays and the Giants, and it's working. They're arguably the best team in baseball right now. They're proving me wrong, and I fucking love it.
William Brown, I called the Tigers ALCS this year or better if my prediction came true. Torque and Mize playing like where we picked them.
Yeah, I mean, Mize, you love it. I said if Torque hits 30 bombs, Tigers making the playoffs, and he's obviously on pace to do that. Dude is locked in right now.
The guy in the back jealous about Nick. LOL. This is Dumbo Jumbo.
That's not the first comment I seen. Going back to a photo, if you
Oh, yeah, the dude in the back.
Zoom it in. Who is it?
Zoom in to the right.
Yep.
To the right.
There.
To the right. No slide.
And the guy all the way to the right.
Yeah, both of those
them. Look at
guys.
that.
Everybody's jealous of Nick, dude.
Mean mug.
Wow, man.
Right now.
Kirby Joseph, Sheila, Keegan. Who's next on the list here?
Yeah, where's your list, Rando?
Why don't you get some baddies?
Who you risen up on Ford Field, brother? Yeah. You know?
Can you get a Cameron Brink?
Where's your video of you kissing?
Let's see who they. If
Keegan
they can bring
Michael
him to Comerica and they're on the field, I might have a shot, fellas.
Okay.
To kiss him?
No kisses. Those are strictly for Teresa.
Oh, shout out to Pistons Jack, by the way.
Yes,
Pistons Jack.
Also,
Yes, I said what's up to him. I was talking to him. I said, "Don't listen to fucking haters, dude. You're killing it."
Yeah, what's that about? How do you hate a
are
guy?
It's
so
jealous
positive?
little kids.
Yeah.
It's jealous little kids.
You know how Pistons Twitter is.
If you want to get the opportunities that he's getting, be better at your job and you'll get them. He is extremely good at creating content and putting on for the Pistons, so they give him his flowers. Like,
I'm honestly a little jealous of Nick making my girl laugh like that. I don't know how I feel about that, Nick.
Hey, it had to be done.
All right, let's do this real quick. We don't got to go to a whole break or anything. Just let me do this read, and then we'll do a little sign off.
Get your mailbags in.
But first, let me tell you about Mad Packs. Spemo Rax here to talk to you about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new cannabis brand, and they're partnering with Woodward Sports. You know what that means? I'm going to be feeling good all summer long. Mad Packs is going to take your game to the next level. High-low, getting you high for the low, delivering top-tier quality and unbeatable prices. Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka is a live resin-infused tarantula. This one's the bomb. Blizzard Packs, THCA, Moon Rocks to hit like a blizzard. Coming to select retailers in May 2025. Stay tuned with Woodward Sports Network for the latest updates.
Just a fan. I love what Tommy Kahnle's doing. The Tigers, great signing. He proves good pitchers don't have to be 90-plus fastballs to pitch good.
I was called the madman.
His consistency is insane.
He is a demon.
It is crazy. He also is a true American hero. Anytime Maeda's in there fucking shit up. Here comes old Tommy Kahnle.
Takes care of business.
Taking care of business. That should be his walkout song, to be honest with you.
Dude, Tommy Kahnle is a savage. Like, I wasn't just joking when I called him a demon. He's got one of the best pitches in baseball, and he's a demon, man. It's awesome. Love the guy. Great. It was a great signing. Shout out Tom Izzo.
Easy to sit this one out. We can't lose this traction. I don't know what that means.
Taking care of business.
Yeah, I am. Pistons Jack, great Aussie ambassador. I agree.
He's just a cool dude, man. Like, if you've met him and talked to him, to hate on the guy is ridiculous. He's just such a nice dude. So happy.
Seems like he wouldn't hate on anybody. Like, even if you're being mean to
No.
him, he'd just be like, "Well, all right."
Yeah, all right, thanks, bro.
Well, all right.
Dude, he's fucking sweet.
Yeah.
It was
Mailbag,
very
Eazy.
cool to meet him.
You going Welch forever.
He said he appreciated us too. He was like,
"Who?"
Jack, because like, he was like, "Thank you for you and Eazy like having me on the show and stuff."
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because that was early.
Yeah,
I respect, dude. He's what 5 a.m. probably for these games, 3 a.m. to wake up to like dedicated to the craft.
That's one of the best runs that anybody on Pistons Twitter has ever had.
The best run on Pistons.
Yeah,
I would say.
Without a doubt. He did an opening the pitch of the Tigers game.
Yeah, it was insane.
That's nuts. How'd he do, by the way? That's a guy never do with baseball, I'm sure.
He bounced it.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
All right, well, that'll do it for us today. Appreciate you tapping in. Make sure you smash that like button for Eazy, for Nick, for Chris. I'm Spenny. We're the heavyweights.
How many Detroit legends will Nick kiss by the end of the year?
Over under 5.5. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Chris, we got to do 5.